All right, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about Jermell Charlo, Brian Castano, and the undisputed fight a fight for undisputed at 154 pounds that is coming up this weekend. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. I am super excited about this fight coming up this weekend. But before we get into that subject matter, please make sure, if you're not subscribed, to subscribe to the channel, share the video, like the video, because it goes a long way to helping the channel grow, and it would be much appreciated. So Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano are fighting for something that nobody in the four-belt era has done, which is become the undisputed champion at that weight division. You have Jermell Charlo, who's the WBA, the WBC, and the IBF champion, and you have Brian Castano, who is the IBF champion. So if you don't know what undisputed means, undisputed pretty much just means that you will be the only champion in that weight division, and you will hold all four of those belts that I just named. So going into this fight, Jermell Charlo is considered the favorite, and he should be considered the favorite because this is a guy that has really been on a tear. I think in his last 10 fights, all of his last 10 fights have been championship fights, and he lost one to Tony Harrison, but I personally think that he won that fight against Tony Harrison, and then he came back and fought Tony Harrison again, and he knocked out Tony Harrison. So personally, I think that he shouldn't, well, you can't take away the loss, but you get my point. He really is the top dog at 154 pounds, and 154 pounds is a really stacked, is a very stacked division. I mean, he fought guys like Erickson Lubin, he fought guys like Austin Trout, Tony Harrison. Those guys are not pushovers. And then he fought Jason Rosario, who he exposed by knocking him out with a body shot. But he really is the class of that weight class. Now, Brian Castano, on the other hand, is somebody that also, or like Jermell Charlo, should not be just discounted in this fight, because he is a very tough, he's a tough guy. Now, first thing about him, I always tell people this, that he's an Argentine fighter, and Argentine fighters like Sergio Martinez, these guys, I think Marcus Maidana is also from Argentina. If he's not, please excuse me and correct me in the comment section. I don't mind that at all. However, Argentine fighters have this reputation for being awkward fighters, really tough fighters that give you a really different look. Billy Joe Saunders was in against an Argentine fighter, and just, he winds up getting the knockout, but looked bad the whole time because the guy would just mirror him and just do really kind of awkward stuff. Well, Brian Castano is not an awkward fighter. He's a volume puncher, and he's somebody that if Jermell, I keep saying Jermell, forgive me, if Jermell Charlo doesn't fight him right, can cause him a lot of problems, man. Specifically, if he lets Brian Castano get too close to him, if he lets him fight, on the close in on the inside, then I think you're going to see something where, Jermell would have a hard time winning rounds with him, because if he can't control the distance with him, I think that's what's going to be essential for Jermell, is for Jermell to keep him at arm's length, where Jermell has all of the advantage, because there's nothing really he can do from out there, because Brian Castano was shorter, more compact fighter. But if he gets on the inside, then he very well could have, what Brian Castano has to say. Man, my tongue is just twisting all over the place today. Please excuse me. Brian Castano had to say, which was he was going to make him suffer. He was going to get on the inside. He's going to Brian Castano also said that he wasn't just going to be like a high volume puncher for this fight, because that's what he's done in the past. Specifically, again, he had a really good fight against Erislandy Lara, and Erislandy Lara is a taller fighter than him, and who has a long reach, has very good mobility. Now, granted, it was, it's later in the career of Erislandy Lara, but still, he was able to do what he needed to do on a guy that fought at that level. My understanding is that Brian Castano has never lost a fight in either the amateurs, which is tough for me to believe since he didn't get a Olympic gold medal. I don't know of it, but he said he's never lost a fight. We'll go with him on that. And he's just an intelligent fighter. So Jermell is gonna have to keep him on the outside, and he's gonna have to hit him with some legitimately hard shots to prevent him from wanting to get in. Now, what I think is gonna happen in the fight is I got Jermell winning the fight on a 12-round decision. I think that he's gonna box intelligently, and I don't think he's gonna be overly aggressive, which invites Brian Castano to come in and time him. But I've got Jermell Charlo winning this fight. Now, after this fight is over, though, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, assuming that Jermell Charlo wins this fight, and I think that is a fairly safe assumption to make. What's going to happen in that division afterwards? You have a bunch of people that are talking about moving up in that weight. You have Danny Garcia that's moved up into the weight class. You also have guys like Erickson Lubin that said that he wants to get another shot at Jermell Charlo. So more than likely, I think you still got good matchups there. Jermell said that he's not going to be leaving the weight class. He said that he makes the weight very easily. He doesn't want to go up to 160 pounds and mess up, what's going on with his brother at 160 pounds. But he said something about Errol Spence Jr., but Errol Spence Jr. could be moving up. And if Jermell has all the belts and Errol Spence moves up, then, those guys are on a collision course, unless that Errol skips 154 pounds and goes straight to 160 and starts campaigning there, where I don't really know if he's really got the size, like the physical length to compete with some of the taller guys. But we'll see what happens. But for sure, what needs to happen is that Jermell Charlo needs to get on these top 10 pound-for-pound lists, like Ring Magazine's pound-for-pound list and ESPN's pound-for-pound list, because he has now done exactly what it is that he needs to do in order to be ranked there. But you know how things go. You don't always get what is logical when it comes to black fighters, because every other undisputed champion made it into the top 10 pound-for-pound. But that, I'm telling you, now it may make the upper side of the quota. I always believe, and I do believe, that there's a quota system over there at ESPN on ESPN and Ring Magazine, where they have a certain amount of people from certain regions of the world on that list, because it always winds up being the exact same thing. Ukraine got two people on that list. They only got about 3 boxers, but they got 2 of them on the top 10 pound-for-pound list. And then you either have 2 or 3 Mexicans, you either got 2 or 3 black fighters, and then maybe somebody like and then an Asian, 1 or 2 Asian fighters, just so they make sure that it looks like it is, it's got to be global, it's got to be international. Well, we'll see if he breaks up that global international cycle and gets too many Americans on that on that list. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what yours is in the comment section. And again, thank you so much. Please make sure to subscribe to the video, to the channel, like the video, share the video, because it really does go a long way. And with that, I'm out. Peace.